Jesu litwala lami nguye usindiso lwami ngenze ngathembo kwami ngophaswa sayitwala lami ngoba uJesu Kristu litwala ngokunye yekuzedlula ngokunye ekuzadlula anobumnyama uphambi kepha mangingoze elithemba lamne ziphepho endleleni yamangingayila ashikolola ngoba uJesu Kristu litwala konke yekuzedlula konke kuzodlula isifungo siqinile kulabo abamthembile nanxa mina ngidangele uJesu ngesamthembile ngoba uJesu Kristu ulitwala konke yekuzedlula konke kuzadlula anxa kukhala ithilo uyena sengikuphukele sengiqokiswe ngobungcwele esigodlweni ngiyovela ngoba uJesu Kristu litwala konke yekuzedlula konke ekuzadlula.
Mr. Chindudza, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We've been dying to do this for quite some time.
It's been long.
Finally.
We thank God.
Yes,
Sure.
yes. We want to thank God so much. And so, you know, you've told us your name, but may you share with us a little bit more about yourself, you know, the kind of person that you are, whatever you're comfortable to share with our viewers and listeners about who Mr. Lawrence Chindudza is.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here to share my story, the story of my conversion.
Yes.
I come from Mutare. I
Yes.
grew up in Manicaland. I was born and bred in Manicaland. I did all my primary school, high school in Manicaland. And all my family comes from that side. Then it is when I was now going to varsity that I moved to Harare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
that is one of the first adventures of my life,
Oh,
that I moved to Harare in 2013.
Oh, okay. Wow, when you're coming to university.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes,
that's
yes,
great.
yes, yes,
That's
yes.
great.
Yeah.
So are you married? Are you?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a very wonderful wife, and I thank God for that.
Oh, amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And greetings to Mrs. Chindudza.
Sure.
Yes, thank you so much. So today, as you have already said, muruku koverana nesu nyaya yekutendeuka kwenyu
Sure.
kuti tigova tinobatirana pamwe chete pakushumira Jehovha mukati mesangano reSeventh Day Adventist. Izvi zvakaitika rini, zvakaitika kupi?
Rega nditange nekuti ndakakura ndiri munhu anga ari mumhuri yaingoita zvekunamata.
Oh, okay.
From my grandparents to my parents, takangokura tichinamata tichienda kuchechi, kusangano rataienda. Ndiri kusangano iroro ndaitoitawo zvese zvinoitwa nevanhu vechidiki, vanonzi vanoda zvekunamata.
Oh, okay.
Saka nditori kusangana iroro
So you were not a nominal or a backbencher?
Yeah.
You were not a nominal member, you were active?
I was
as a
very
young
active
person.
as a young
Oh,
person.
You grew up that way?
I grew up that way.
Oh, okay.
So I was baptized as an infant in childhood, then went through all the processes which every active member is involved in. Yeah. Then it was around 2012 that I saw some greater light like Paul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
On his way to Damascus.
On his way to Damascus.
Something happened.
Something happened.
He left Jerusalem. Paul left Jerusalem as a prosecutor.
Exactly.
But he eventually got into Jerusalem as a prisoner.
As a prisoner, yeah.
Something happened.
Jerusalem
between Damascus.
Exactly.
You see, he was arrested.
Yeah.
And caught red-handed.
Exactly.
Yeah, by Heaven Republic Police.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, so around 2012.
Yes.
Something happened.
Something happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you? Oh, so this is before 2013 when you moved to Harare.
Yes.
Okay, that's all right. So this okay. So that means we can't wait.
Munonzwa semunotsva.
So I think let's go straight into that. So what exactly happened? How did this happen? Chi chakaitika. Kuti pazoita that change. Yekuti you are leaving one faith community and joining the Adventist faith community. What is and how? What happened and how did it happen?
Okay, so I did my high school at a United Methodist Church Mission School, which is Maranga High School.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So at that school, we would go to church some Sundays, as usual. But then I had a friend whom I was learning with my A-level, who was an Adventist.
Oh, all right.
So that friend of mine...
So you were both in this school, but neither of you was a member of the church
yes.
the school?
Yes. Exactly. That's not a day scholar at the school.
Oh, you were day scholars?
Yes, we were day scholars at the mission school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I have a young brother who went to the same mission
school.
Oh,
is it?
By the way.
Okay.
And my parents have got a house. It's a walkable distance at Maranga Clinic.
Very
close to that high school.
Okay.
Yes,
That's wonderful.
Yes, it's a very beautiful high school.
Okay.
Yes.
So since we were day scholars, my friend being a day scholar as well, he invited me one of the days to his church, which was an Adventist church.
Oh, okay.
So that's when my journey began at that very moment.
Oh, okay.
So when he invited me to church, he was conducting the morning service, which is called Sabbath School.
Oh, okay.
He was
the one leading out?
Yes, he was leading out the service alone.
Oh.
So
Sabbath School, which is like a version of Sunday school for those who attend church on Sunday.
Exactly.
So he was taking
he was taking a leading role in that service. So ndakangwa nekushamisika kuti someone of my age can actually do this. Someone of my age is...
Was it not common in the faith community that you were a member?
It was quite much common because usually when I lead my services, vanga vari vanhu vakuru, the elderly people, ndo vanyanyaita zvekuparidza nekuverenga Bible. It wasn't much common to see the youths participating or to see vanhu vakawanda, just the general person in the church being able to stand up front, reading the Bible or preaching or leading out services. Yeah.
Okay, so that element here, youth involvement, was quite, something for you. Or you were not used to that.
Of course, we were active as youths in that we would do our all-night prayers and all those services, but now to be active in church and actually have that kind of knowledge of the Bible. What actually struck me was his knowledge of the scriptures.
Oh, sure.
To say someone of my age can actually open the Bible and say, let's open this chapter, let's read from this verse, and actually bring out a story which is understandable, line upon line, verse upon verse. Little and there, little. As Isaiah says.
Yes.
So I was struck by his knowledge of the scriptures and his ability to actually lead out in service. And they said to myself, why can't I do this same thing? Chinganditadzisa kuita zvinogonekwa nemumwe munhu wezera rangu. So yeah, That was the beginning of the journey.
So did you share these thoughts with your friend? And what's his name, by the way?
His name is Promise.
Oh, Promise.
Yeah.
Okay, did you share with Promise after the service? Yeah, this was quite something remarkable, or Zandibata.
I don't think I did,
Okay.
but I did tell him that from then on, I would want to continue visiting his church.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Actually, I had to visit a different church from his because there was a church which was closer to mine.
Okay. But an Adventist congregation.
An Adventist congregation as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I started to visit an Adventist congregation from then because nandingorine shungu dzekudzidza shoko raMwari. And then getting to the Adventist congregation, I was introduced to a morning class for visitors, and those people who have not yet been baptized. And then I started to learn from that class. So it is now from that class where I learned several subjects which changed my life.
Okay, so are there particular subjects that really stood out for you? This is very different, and so on and so on, in that class for the time. And how long were you in the class for?
So this invitation to the Adventist church happened when I was in my A level in the third term.
Okay.
So it was within that third term that I learned all these things which changed my life.
Oh, sure.
Because the December of that very year, 2012, is when I was baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, the December of that same year.
Of that very same year.
Wow.
So the change just happened in probably 3 to 4 months.
Okay, so what exactly? So take us through the journey. You've told us that it started with this invitation.
Yeah.
Your friend to an Adventist church service, and then later on you were attending a different congregation.
Yeah.
Leading up to the baptism in December of that year. So what are some stand out for you? Zvakabatsira with the conviction, yes, or that
okay.
This is different, and so on.
So firstly, chakaita kuti ndiende to this congregation where my friend was not worshiping at. It was mainly because panga paine vanhu vanogara pedyo neni vanga vari very receptive and very hospitable. So vaitondudza kuti ngatigadzirire mangwana tiri kuenda kuchurch, musi wacho kuenda kuchurch wotonditora handiitese kuchurch. And it was quite a distance. It was about around 5 kilometers to the church, which we would have to walk. So, and we would have our lunch there at church. So we went on did lunch takura neako, and that exactly. So that kind of hospitality helped me now to continue visiting their congregation. Yeah, so that was quite an important element.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I hope our listeners are taking note.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, some of the things that you have mentioned, which is just an invitation from a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the beginning point.
Exactly.
And then number 2, youth involvement.
Yeah.
Engagement. To church. A youth.
Yeah.
An active and leading role.
Yeah.
Not just kungogara uko.
Exactly.
All the time. So that was something, and then we as a youth, young as they were, and your age mate, I kwanisa kuva coherent presentation of what the Bible was saying.
Exactly.
And then you are now mentioning about the hospitality.
Yeah.
Your neighbors.
Exactly.
Who were inviting you and supporting you in those early stages.
Yeah.
All these are important elements. If we do the opposite of these, I think we drive people away from God.
Definitely, yeah.
Nakambona mungakanyora an article yenge yakanzi 10 ways to kill your church.
Okay.
Things that you can do to kill your ministry as a church or as a Christian. Sometimes, we don't really see the value of being friendly, of being hospitable, and so on. But just that invitation can make a world of a difference in someone's life for time and eternity.
Yeah.
It's okay. So, yes, so the hospitality, and then
so now I'm at the church.
Yes, now we are at the church.
I was introduced to a class where visitors should learn the scriptures. So one thing which really struck me was that at the church there was much time to study the Bible. So in the morning there was time to break out into classes, you have a class for the children, you have a class for those who are visitors and those who have not yet been baptized, which I was introduced to, and there was a class for the youth, a class for the adults. That concept of valuing the scriptures really struck me much.
Really having
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
And where
Really,
people can
exactly. You can exchange, you can discuss, you can dig into subjects, you can really get into the real bottom of most issues which pertain to our life and our salvation. So this is an element which had been missing in my previous religion. So we would go to church, but now on the day of worship, there will be probably 3 scriptures for the day,
Okay.
which come probably from the beginning of the year. You have 3 scriptures for each and every worship service,
Oh, they are already
which are
set.
predetermined.
Oh,
Yes,
predetermined.
yes.
Okay.
Then someone would come and preach based on those scriptures.
Ah.
So now what would happen is when those scriptures are read in the morning, they are read in the morning before the sermon time.
Okay.
If you would probably miss the time when the scriptures are read,
Okay.
you could probably miss the point during the sermon time.
You don't know the context for the
You might
sermon.
fail to get the context for the sermon.
Okay.
So I was struck by the value which is placed on the scriptures,
Oh,
and seeing everyone making that effort to just own a Bible also struck me, because I was used to that scenario whereby would you have a Bible for the family,
Oh, okay. Oh,
not for an individual.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
You would have a Bible for the family. This is our Bible as a family.
As a family.
And as we go to church, we are going with our Bible as a family.
So one of the family members will have the Bible.
Yes.
And the rest.
And the rest, we are just listening to the sermon,
Oh, okay.
just along.
Oh.
But now, in this new scenario, I'm seeing everyone is holding a Bible. And for me, it struck me.
Oh, is it so?
Yeah.
You know, some of these, they look like
Little
very-
things,
very
yeah.
little
The fact
things.
that you are going to church with a Bible, I know you have several versions in your phone.
Yes,
You
yes.
can actually go with your phone to church. But the fact that you are going with
With a
a
hard
real
copy.
Bible,
Yes.
it can speak to someone who is visiting your church for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I hope we get that. That, you know, just like, you know, having a church building, it can minister
Exactly.
throughout.
Someone just
24/7.
passing by can
Yeah,
say,
someone passing
what
by.
is happening here?
Yes, yes. You know, and these are some of those things that we sometimes miss when we get into our own arguments and say, okay, I have it in my phone, and so fair and fine. But we are getting it from someone's experience that seeing people having copies
Yeah, of the
was
Bible.
something that was quite significant
Yes.
to you and so on. And you know, you also mentioned something about you know, just the time that is dedicated to the study of the Bible during Sabbath school.
Yeah.
It reminds me. I had a friend, a classmate, when I was studying in the Philippines, and he was from Myanmar.
Okay.
He is from Myanmar. He's still my friend.
Okay.
A Baptist pastor, but we were studying together in the seminary. We were doing the same program, and you know, there's one day that he mentioned something to me, which I've not forgotten until now. You would always be at church,
Okay.
Sabbath morning, with his children.
Okay.
And so he told me one day, said, you know what, when I've looked at, for the time that I've been here, you know, I'm not an Adventist, and among other things, I think one of the things that really stands out for me in your entire church programming, it is Sabbath school.
Okay.
He says, my kids, I will never allow for my children to miss Sabbath school.
Okay.
You know, that will not happen. I will make sure, no matter how tired I might be, they have to attend Sabbath school.
Okay.
He says, no, this is totally different, you know, to the way these classes are conducted for the children.
Okay.
And, you know, the crafts and activities that will be done and everything like that. And so, you know, and everything, the discussions.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I just thought about that.
Yeah, that's
when
good.
Yes, but anyway, it's your
So
story.
now, it's at that class now, some lessons really stood out for me.
Oh, okay.
Because there are several lessons which someone has to go through
Yes,
before they get
yes,
baptized.
yes.
Or if they're
Different
just
topics.
a visitor, There are several topics that you need to
Existence of God, creation,
exactly.
and everything
Yeah.
like that, and so on.
So one of the key lessons that struck me was the lesson on baptism.
Oh, okay.
Just to realize from the Bible what true baptism is about. You realize that there are several ways in which people are baptized. Some dip people in water three times. Some ones, with some religions, you just pass under a flag and you're baptized. There's no water involved. Some will dip you 7 times in water. But I then got to realize that baptism signifies that you are dying to your old life and you are now resurrecting to a new life. And by implication, you have to be dipped in water, the whole body, and once, then you are taken out of the water. I also got to understand that you need to first be converted for you to be baptized.
Yes.
I took my Bible to read Mark 16, verse 16, which says, "He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned." So what's most important is for you to first believe. But now look at me, I had been baptized as an infant. Not knowing anything. I was only told that exactly. Exactly. I just told. I was just told that I was baptized as an infant.
And you said, really?
Did I? Was I? Then the Bible is saying, "He that believeth." Then I got to understand that one needs to first believe and be converted. Then you are dipped in water. I had been baptized as an infant, and it was through sprinkling of water on the forehead. But now the Bible is telling us the significance of baptism, that it's an outward expression of an inward conversion. You're being dipped into water to signify that you had been baptized. So that was the first thing that really struck me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. I think we can just talk about that a little bit. That so when we talk about baptism, we can talk about it according to churches or pastors or ministers or prophets or evangelists or whatever. But always it's important to go to the Bible.
Exactly.
And say, what does the Bible
say about it?
And we look at examples of baptism
in the Bible.
Okay. And we even look at the meaning of baptism. So when we come to the Bible, we find that before baptism, there's instruction, there's teaching, there's preaching. And people accept, they believe, and they accept what they have heard. Then it leads to a confirmation, public confirmation through baptism.
Okay, yeah.
And there's not a single infant in the Bible baptized.
Okay, yeah.
Not one.
Definitely.
Even Jesus was not baptized
as an infant. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are inventions that people have come up with, contrary to what the Bible teaches. And so I mean, so it really stood out for you.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
And so on. So I think it is very important, to really appreciate that. Yeah, it's okay. We can follow pastors. We can follow, but most important, if we're serious about salvation, we have to follow the word and what the Bible says.
Exactly.
And so you find that, for example, is it John 3:23 that John used to baptize at Ainon on the Jordan River because there was much
water there. Yeah.
Not just water.
Much water.
Much water. Because it has to be enough for the one baptizing and the one being baptized to get into. And in fact, the very word baptizo means to immerse.
To immerse, okay.
To dip underwater. So if I'm sprinkling and I call it baptism, it's a contradiction in terms.
Exactly.
Because the word is not in search of a meaning. It already means something.
Something, yeah.
It's not looking for what to mean. It already means something.
The word itself means to dip.
Yes, it actually means to dip. So if someone is walking under a flag, and I call it baptism, I've actually mutilated the word and what it means.
Exactly.
Yeah, and everything. So I think it's just for the benefit of our of our viewers and listeners, maybe to appreciate what you're talking about. And so what else?
Then moving to the second subject, which stood out for me, ndakabatwa nenyaya yechimiro chavakafa.
Oh, okay.
Isusu sevanhu patinofa chii chinomboitika. Isusu taingofunga kuti kana munhu akafa anoenda kugehena kana asina kuita zvakanaka, kana aita zvakanaka ari kuenda kudenga. Uye taingokura chinzwa nyaya dzengozi, taitongofunga kuti munhu kana afa haana kunyatsofa, ane something chaanoziva. Ende taitonzi tiri kumakuva hatifanirwi kunongedza nechigunwe, zvinoera unonongedza nechibhakera. Apa ndo pana sekuru apa, apa ndo pana mbuya apa. Ukanongedza neruoko chete pane zvinoitika. So now coming to the Bible, ndakudzidzisa kuti no, munhu paakasikwa akaumbwa neguruva revhu, Mwari akafemera maari mweya weupenyu. It got me to understand kuti Mwari haana kuisa something mandiri chinorarama. Ndakazotanga kurarama after the combination ye breath of life ne dust from the ground. Then I got to learn kuti pandiri kufa inini, mweya uri kudzokera kuna Mwari akaupa, ivhu rodzokera kuivhu. And then I learned kuti mweya wangu haubatiki. It's not something tangible to say mweya waWatson urapo, wa Lawrence urapo, wa John urapo. Mweya uri kudzokera kuna Mwari, muna Mwari kwawakabva. Then I learned from Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 5 that the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything. Neither is their memory remembered. They don't remember anything, and they don't have anything to do with whatsoever happens on the earth. So this
that text is in short and not vakafa hapana chavanoziva.
Exactly. Isu vapenyu tinoziva kuti tichazofa.
Vapenyu ndo vanoziva kuti vachazofa.
Exactly.
Zvikanzi vakafa rudo rwavo, godo ravo, kuvenga kwavo, zvose zvanguva zvapera.
Exactly.
Havachina mugove pazvose zvinoitika pasi pezuva.
Exactly.
Tiri kutaura tiri pana Muparidzi chapter 9.
Exactly.
Handiti verse number 5. Tichidzika takadaro. Saka iri kubva yaburitsa kuti vakafa hapana chavanoziva. Saka zvakabva zvapikisana ne zvawakanga wakura uchifunga. You know what, so it was striking.
Exactly. Because taitofunga kuti munhu kana afa ari mutsvene akutoenda kudenga. Ndosaka kuine vasande kuna na St Mary, St Paul, St John, zvinofungwa kuti since akafa ari mutsvene atoenda kudenga. Asi tinodzidza isusu mushoko raMwari kuti tinotomirira kuuya kwaJesu kwechipiri. 2 Thessalonians 4 yobva yatoti Kristu paari kuuya, vakafa muna Kristu vanotanga kumuka, isu vapenyu tobatana nawo makore tochingamidza Ishe. Exactly. Saka tinozova nashe after the second coming, and not prior to the second coming. And then I realized kuti system dzimwe dzatakakura tichiziva dzekupira midzimu, midzimu paipirwa minamato inoita seyaitopindurwa zvichitoitika, but that's a system isiri according to shoko raMwari, because zvikuona kuti shoko raMwari rinototi akafa anachaita sei naye chaanoziva. And I had also grown up ndiri musystem yekuti taitofunga kuti even mai waJesu since variwo vakazvara Jesu, though vakafa we can still go through navo vachitotibatsira something pakunamata kwedu. Tine mimwe minamato yataitoita tichitoti mai Maria tinamatirei isu vanyangadzi, pray for us to the Father because you were holy. So that kind of system now I realized kuti vanhu vakawanda vari kutoishandisa honestly. Kutone vanhu vakawanda vachitorevesa. Exactly. Handisi totaura kuti vanoita izvozvo havasitori serious nekunamata. Aiwa, vatori very serious with worshiping God. But now system yakango inheritwa from tradition ichitoshandiswa, but now tikazoenda kuBhaibheri rakuti aiwa isusu ngatiendei kuna Mwari kuburikidza naKristu Jesu bedzi. Hatingaendi exactly, hatingaendi through midzimu kana vamwe vanhu, because especially kana vakatofa havachina chavanoita sei naye chavanoziva, havachirumbidzi Jehovha.
Ino nezuro ndaiverenga rimwe bhuku, pane munyoro wandinofarira zvikuru, anonyora, I mean that guy was, I just salute him. He was a prolific writer. He was an American scholar and philosopher. Anonzi Will Durant. Yes, Will Durant. Akanyora zvinyorwa zvakawanda zvikuru mabooks, but like randiri kufunga nezvaro pari zvino, it's rinonzi Caesar and Christ, or
Okay.
Christ and Caesar. It's in the series here, the history of civilization. Akanyora about 11, 12 volumes in the history of civilization. I mean, this guy is just remarkable the way he writes. And just what you talked about, Nyaeva Sunday and so on, he mentions, he's just writing history.
Okay.
He's just writing from a history point of view.
Okay.
Sakanobata, he was talking about the Roman Empire.
Okay.
Anobata, whether my arts, anobata the sciences, anobata all aspects of life.
Okay.
Military, everything like that, anobata all the religious components. Pakonyora kwake history, it doesn't just follow the politics only. And so he was talking about the first deification that happened when Rome transitioned from the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire.
Okay.
And that was done by Julius Caesar.
Okay.
And then consolidated by Octavian or Augustus, the one who came after him, which is probably the reason also we have July followed by August.
Okay, okay, I see.
And actually coming from Julius and Octavian or Augustus Caesar. And so Julius Caesar was deified 2 years after he died. But then Augustus, who is mentioned in Luke chapter 2 verse 1, the time when Jesus was born, that census yakaitwa Mary na Joseph waende ku Bethlehem. It was ordered by Augustus, the successor was Julius. Okay? And iye Augustus akatotanga kunamatwa samwari ari mupenyu. Julius akatanga kunamatwa 2 years after he died. Ipapo ndo pane mviro sekunamatwa kwevasandi. You have no reference to such in the Bible.
Okay.
It's actually coming from the Roman
Empire. I see.
Beginning with Julius Caesar.
Okay.
And then of course the worship yaitwa ya Diana or Athena ainamatwa ku Ephesus. Achinzi vahosi vedenga.
Exactly.
Yes. And so on and so on. Ainamatwa as the goddess, as the queen of heaven. That's where Mariology emanates from, at Ephesus. And so on. But many people have never bothered
to really look into it. Yes, exactly.
Because in the Bible, you don't have a single prayer that goes through Mary.
Okay.
Not one.
Yeah. So that really struck me to say I've been so earnestly worshiping God. Ndaitona matangwari nekurevesa tichiita zvese asi kuzozvitsvaga mubhaibheri hatichazviwani. Exactly. Saka ipfungwa yakakosha yakandibata. Then chekupedzisira chakandibata, it was nyaya yeSabbath. I had grown up learning the 10 Commandments. Tichitomadzidziswa tichiri vadiki kuSunday school. Asi pfungwa yekuti Sabata richiri rakakosha kunyange muzuva ranhasi ndingaisa ndanyatsa kuibata nokuizivisisa. So ndakazoitwa go through the Bible with me, ndikadzidziswa kuti now nyaya yeSabata yakatotangira Mwari vachangopedza kusika. Ndo pavakabva Genesis chapter 2 verse 1 to 3 inoti Mwari akapedza basa rake rokusika akazova nezuva reSabata akaropafadza akariita dzvene. So it really struck me kuti of the 7 days of the week there's one special day on which God rested and he blessed and he made holy. I then go to realize kuti days are not just the same. There's a special day for the Lord. And then we trace through the Bible, tikaona kuti vana veIsrael, Exodus 16, vaitoita keep the Sabbath. Even the prophets were also keeping the Sabbath. Vana Ezekiel, toenda kuNew Testament, Jesu wacho, Luke 4 verse 16, aitopinda musinagoge nezuva reSabata. And then toona kuti even my disciples, pavakasara, they continued with that practice. Because tikatarisa kunana Acts chapter 13, Acts chapter 17, vanhu vaitoenda kusynagogue nezuva reSabata, even after the resurrection of Christ. Tozodzidza futi kuti even kudenga kwatiri kushuvira kuenda, Isaiah anoti the Sabbath shall also be kept there. And then I also go to understand kuti though we have the grace of God, for by grace are we saved through faith, hazvitipi license yekurarama zvatinoda or license yekurarama tisingateedzeri murayiro waMwari. Ndakakwanisa kudzidza nekuzvibatanidza kuti no, grace iripo, handitomboponeswi nekuti ndachengeta murayiro. I have kept the commandments, so I will be saved. No. Keeping the law is not a license for salvation.
It's not a means to salvation.
Exactly. I'm saved by grace through Jesus Christ, but faith without works is dead. And it's actually then Christ who helps me to keep these commandments. And it is because ndachengeta murayiro saka ndakutoponeseka. Ayo, Jesu kana ari mandiri, I can easily keep the commandments. It's easier.
If you love me, keep my commandments.
Exactly.
John 14:15.
John 14:15, yeah.
Yes.
So within those commandments now, you see kuti ndandisombona kana problem nekunzi ndisanamate vamwe vaMwari.
But
kana kuti ndisabe, usaite upombwe, usapupurire kwako nhema, usaite mufananidzo wakavezwa, nyaya dzese idzi dzisina kana problem. Asi the Sabbath. Pakazojeka now. Saka ini ndakangoti now, this is not a teaching iri kubva mumusoro memunhu ari kufunga doctrine yake as an individual. Kuti inini ndafunga kuti vanhu vanamate so. That is one thing that I liked about ndanga ndichidzidza in the Adventist Church. Kuti hakuna dzidziso inonzi ndeye munhu or ndeye church. Mukandibvunza zvandinoita muupenyu hwangu or zvandinorarama ndichiobserva nekuita, I will not tell you kuti kuchechi kwedu kunonzi kana kuti kuchechi ndakadzidza zvakati. I can only open for you from the Bible. Kuti I'm doing this because the Bible says this. Exactly. So that is one thing that I also like to say. Everything that we are learning and are doing, it has basis on the Bible, which is one thing that I implore vanhu vese kuti vaite pakunamata kwavo. Shungu dzekunamata Mwari tinadzo. That's why there are thousands of churches in the world. Tinotoda kunamata Mwari zvekutodaro. Ende patinomunamata totomunamata tichitorevesa nemoyo wese. Handitika. But now we have to go beyond that. We have to go beyond kuva neshungu dzekunamata. Tofanira kuva neshungu dzekunamata according to what the Bible says. Exactly.
John chapter 4. It sounds rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the hard sayings. You don't even know what it is.
Exactly.
Yekuti vanonamata Mwari vamunamate
mumweya nemuzvokwadi. Yeah.
Nokuti baba vanotsvaga
vakadaro
kuti vavanamate. Saka zvakanaka kunamata asi ngazive mumweya
nemuzvokwadi.
You know, there's something that that is coming to my mind. I hope you allow me to say this.
It's okay.
Ichiconnecta nyaya yebaptism nenyaya yeSabbath, which are some of the things that stood out for you. You know kuti ava vari nhengo kana kuti sangano rinonzi Seventh Day Adventist. Of course, the Seventh Day part is highlighting the issue of the Sabbath, and then Adventist, the belief in the second coming of Christ, which is also according to the Bible that Jesus is coming again. John 14 verse 1-3, moyo yenyu ngairege kumanikidzwa, tendai kuna baba ndinoenda asi ndinodzoka, and everything like that. So the name Seventh Day Adventist highlights two of these doctrines, second coming and Sabbath. Okay. But this movement, it was not always Sabbath keeping.
Exactly.
In fact, I had to be in our church on Sunday. And I want to share with you briefly, and maybe for the benefit of our viewers also, how it happened in a nutshell. To begin with, the issue, tangira kunyaya baptism.
All right.
Tichibva Reformation, from pane period in history known as the Dark Ages. Pakatanga Reformation, vanhu vakatanga kuita rediscover the truth of the word of God yange yambokanganiswa for a long time. Vanhu vachidzidziswa traditions dzevanhu, vanhu vachidzidziswa superstitions and things like that. Vanhu ndokuzotanga kuverenga. And one of the groups yakatanga kudiscover, one of the early doctrines to be discovered, izvatiri kuita nezviri muBhayibheri zvakasiyana, was issue of baptism.
Exactly.
Okay? Ndo panotanga nyaya anonzi ma-Anabaptists. Anabaptists meaning those who are rebaptized.
Okay.
Saka vanhu ndobva vatanga no, we're baptized as infants.
Exactly.
And it's not according to the Bible. We need to have the proper baptism according to the Bible. And so the building where that movement started is in Zurich, Switzerland. I visited it. And the river where they used to get rebaptized is the Limmat River, which pours into Lake Zurich. Okay. Close to the Grossmünster Church, where Ulrich Zwingli was pastor. In the very spot. And many of them died.
Is it?
They were killed. Okay, you were baptized the first time. We are now going to give you your third and final baptism.
Okay.
That's your third and final baptism. A lot of them died. This Baptist movement. In fact, our Baptists, it's that emphasis
on this issue of
baptism. Guys, is the infant baptism. It's not biblical. Saka vaka emphasize this aspect.
Okay.
Saka ndokuenderera kusukira pazoita some of them vakazodiscover issue Sabbath. In addition to the baptism and other things, people also discover new issue Sabbath. Yes. Ndobva yanzi Seventh-day Baptist.
Okay.
One of their members, ainzi Rachel Ox, United States, ndiye akazouya to the pioneers of the Adventist movement. Kuti imwe zvimwe zvese ndiri kuwirirana nemi kopa nyaya yeSabbatha. Ava ndipo vakazodzidza vana Ellen White nevamwe vana Frederick Wheeler. Ndipo vakazoti ndokuverenga Bible vana Joseph Bates kwakunoti this is according to the Bible. That's how the whole thing moved and accepted, and from then on have been some of the leading proponents of the Sabbath. And so on. So I'm saying it's interesting that the discovery that you made as an individual, the whole movement also embraced the Sabbath and Bible baptism and so on and so on. And maybe before we move to the other part, in the interest of our time. So you will see, it's quite interesting, when you talk about the Sabbath, the highest number of Sabbath keepers in the world are Africans.
Is it?
Yes, it's Africans. I'm not saying the highest number of Seventh-day Adventists.
Okay, Sabbath keepers. Exactly.
Yeah, for example, if you take the church here, Shembe in South Africa, which is the largest African-initiated church among the Zulus, they have a membership estimated at about 4 million. 4 million. I mean, that's massive.
That's massive, yeah.
Yeah, that's massive. If we come in here, then there's Modise also in South Africa, estimated in an IPC church at about 3 million. So South Africa alone, you're talking at least 7 million. But then there are other churches that we have not. You come into Zimbabwe, you go into Zambia, you go across the continent, all the way to Ghana and so on and so on. Very interesting that Sabbath observance has been very dear to the Africans. The people in Ghana, the Akans, have kept the Sabbath without the Bible.
Is it?
Before they were Christians, they were keeping the Sabbath. And Ethiopia, as a country, kept the Sabbath for the longest time as a nation.
As a nation.
So Africa is kept, and some people actually argue that Great Zimbabwe Kingdom was a Sabbath-keeping institution, which is where Pakazova issue Chisi. There's one day that is holy.
Exactly.
In 7 days, there's one that is holy. So there are actually scholars who argue for that and everything like that. Yeah. So anyway, those are discussions for another day. We can get carried away.
Great. So, in summary, after learning all these things, these three thinkings, in December 2012, I was then baptized into the membership of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Yeah. Then realizing the importance of the scriptures, God leading me through His Spirit, I managed to get this Bible.
Wow. Okay, this very copy.
This very copy was my first Bible, which
your first
personal Bible.
Oh, okay, not a family Bible.
Not a family Bible. This was my first personal Bible, which I managed to buy in 2013.
Wow!
And the Lord helped me to go through it and read. through it. So through then the knowledge of the scriptures, which I continued to get, I was then able to continue to learn and continue to grow.
Great,
Yeah.
wonderful. And so, what change or what impact did this? Was it easy? Did your with regards to your family and your personal life, your personal self? What changes did this acceptance of this new faith have on you? What impact did it have on you? Or what changes did you have to make in your life? Was it easy for you to move into a new faith community? Were there challenges?
Okay. Firstly, I would want to say that I have a very great family, which was very supportive to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ndakatongodza vabereki kuti ndakuda kuenda uko kuchurch, and they permitted me to do so, and I really appreciate, because tangokura tichingoenda kune imwe church tese,
Okay.
but through the leading of God, I would say, they managed to permit me to go to a new church. Ivo vachitosara vari at the former church.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I saw the working of God. And then ndabhabhatidzwa in 2013, in 2012, December, August 2013, I was in my first year at the University of Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So ndasvika paUniversity of Zimbabwe, ndakaitwa welcome to the UZSDA Association.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then in the first year, ndaigara pachikoro. Kuenda kwachaita kuma-services kwakandibatsira kukura pachikristu changu. Because mangwanani ega ega taimutsana toenda kunonamata kuchapel, masikati taita ma-afternoon services, and then taita often ma-midweek prayers, Wednesday manheru, Friday manheru.
Wow.
So that system, for the very first semester tiri kuchikoro, changed my life more, because ndakakwanisa kudzidza more issues dzandaisaziva before. In my former faith, I had not known kuti kune chinhu chinonzi sanctuary.
Okay.
Ndakachiziva during that period.
Oh, okay.
Nezvimwe zvakawanda zvandakadzidza. That was really a transformative journey for me. And
So, you know, kuti ma-colleges, institutions of higher learning, vazhinji perception yatinenge timbori nayo ndeyekuti vana kana vatongoendawo kwatorasika.
exactly.
And yet kune vamwe vakutokura mukutenda kutowana ruponeso mukati me
Exactly.
saka that association
Exactly.
yaka-create an environment for you to thrive spiritually. Yeah, we want to appreciate that is public campus ministry.
Exactly.
Yes.
Taidzidza zvakawanda pamusoro pe-health, and we would go to several churches on Sundays chinoconducta ma-health expos.
Oh, okay.
Chidzidzisa vanhu about how to reverse ma-lifestyle diseases, diabetes, BP, all these issues, how to calculate your body mass index, how to lose weight. So in participating in those activities, zvakandibatsira as well to appreciate nyaya ye-health message iri in the Adventist church, whereby we're saying hatisifana kungoenda kunoparidzira munhu nezvajesu tichimusiya achirwara. Tifana kudzidzawo about our lifestyle and the changes that we need to make. And then panopera semester taienda kuzonde tichinoparadzira vanhu shoko raMwari. So that participation in witnessing, in ministering unto others, helped me to be more convicted about what I believe. So I believe kuti munhu kuti asimbe pachikristu, chekutanga anofanira kuva nenguva yekunamata.
All right. Yes.
Prayer is quite important. In addition to prayer, kuva nenguva yekuverenga shoko raMwari.
Shoko raMwari.
Because pauri kuverenga shoko raMwari, God is talking to you. Pauri kunamata, you are talking to God.
talking to God,
And then zvawaverenga mushoko raMwari, it can only benefit you more if you go and share with others, and that will get you to grow spiritually. Pauri kushare nevamwe, uchasangana nemibvunzo yakaoma, zvokubatsira kudzoka kunoverenga shoko raMwari.
Yeah.
Pauri kuverenga shoko raMwari, uchatadza kunzwisisa wakunamata. So it's a tricycle which is important for us to grow spiritually. Yeah.
Yes. So, and also regular attendance.
Exactly. Of church services was important,
Okay.
because
Which one support?
exactly ndaisamirira kuti panopera week topetiri kuenda kuchurch. We would have midweek services, zvakandibatsira pakukura pakutenda. Yeah.
Okay. So currently, what are some of the things that you are doing in terms of how are you serving the Lord at the moment? Are you active in the church, or what are you doing?
So in the church, I enjoy working with the youth.
No, okay.
So Mwari wakandibatsira just to enjoy working with the youth, and I've been a youth leader for several years.
Wow.
In the church. I enjoy working with the youth and with the pathfinders, and I also managed to get trained in the church on the courses which have to do with the youths and the pathfinders, our master guide, our SYL. Zvakandibatsira as well to appreciate the importance of this ministry. Since I was converted as a young person, I have passion in seeing young people being involved in mission, and I have passion in seeing young people being active and growing in the Lord. So in the church, that's the ministry which I'm more focused on. And on the evangelistic side, ndinongonzwa kuti kune vanhu vakawanda vasingazivi chokwadi chandava kuziva.
Oh, okay.
And I enjoy the use of social media in sharing the gospel. So ndakambotanga ndaita Facebook page rangu rakanzi Amazing Truth.
Okay.
Ndichiita ma live videos angu ipapo. After some time ndikati no, let me change this page to Evangelist Chindudza.
Okay.
So if you go on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and on TikTok, you'll see a page called Evangelist Chindudza. Where did this come from? Around 2013, when I was at USET, takamboita imwe camp. Then at that time we had Wisdom Mutambu, who was one of the guests. So after I enjoyed the lessons that we had, I went to him and said, Mr. Wisdom, ndinongonzwa shunguze kuda kuparidza shoko raMwari.
Okay.
But now I'm a marketing person. So
but you want to be a gospel marketer.
do you think I should be a pastor and leave this marketing degree and go and pursue theology? Then he said, no, you may not leave your degree. You can continue in your degree, continue with your profession. But Paul says to Timothy, do the work of an evangelist. So then I realized that in my life, I can do the work of an evangelist. Yeah. Actually, in my third year, around 2015, Ndriku University, I became a literature evangelist, a student literature evangelist.
What has happened in these few years?
I became a student literature evangelist, whereby I would say literature to fellow students, even to my churchmates back home, and even to some lecturers. Both Adventists and those who are not Adventists, I would sell literature to them. So I became a literature evangelist. Then, being someone who would preach at Sundays, I then got to realize some of the spiritual gifts that I have. So I enjoy preaching and teaching. And now I'm doing that mainly on social media, because I realize that there are a lot of people out there. Actually, when you get to any social media platform, you get bombarded with a lot of videos which are about nothing.
Yeah, that's very true. Lots of them which are about nothing. Wow. And people are becoming millionaires in social media.
Through just content creation.
Yeah, and some of it, you look at it, it really looks like nothing. So what is it really?
So I said to myself, can I just go live on Facebook, live on TikTok, live on Instagram? So now I can do a video on TikTok, and then I post it on Instagram and Facebook, because those accounts can be linked. And the Lord helping me, I'm able to share that which I believe in from the Bible. So, and that's helping me to stay in the faith, or to stay connected with God, because I need to continue learning. I need to continue reading from the Bible. I need to continue praying to God, because this journey, I can only stand by Him and through His power. It cannot be by myself. It only can be through the Lord.
So, thank you so much for that. Some people say that there's a discernible difference between those who were born, who grew up maybe in the church, and those who joined like yourself. Because I'm not I mean, in your experience, do you think it's true, or have you ever made did you ever think about that, or observe, or notice, or feel that maybe there's a difference?
Well, with someone who was in the world before, and you get transformed, there is that complete change. Because ukuziva kuti uku ndakabva
Okay.
handichadzokiko. Speaking about myself, ndaitomboteera imwe music isingaiti or yakawanda rather yenyika. At some point ndaitombonzi Sizzla,
Oh.
because I would listen to Sizzla Kalonji,
Okay.
and I would like reggae music a lot and other kinds of music. But then I got to transform kwakutanga kufarira zvamwari. Now I cannot have the feeling yekuda kumbonzwa futi zvikwenda kabva.
Okay.
But when someone grows in the church, anombowanika nga feeling yekuda kumbonzwawo kuti kuri sei kunzwako, and to experiment with what is in the world. You can have someone who grew up in the church otoramba akatosimbira, but sometimes mumwe akakurira musangano or akakura achinoita zvekunamata anomboda kumboexperimenta to see kuti kunei kunze.
Alright. Saka anenge asina that and panogona kuita musiyano pakati pekukurira musangano nekukura muna Kristu.
Exactly. Kana munhu azvarwa achingopinda musangano,
Yes.
anofanira kutovawo ne-experience of conversion.
Experience of
Yekutoti ndasangana naKristu pakutova ne-transformation mukati meupenyu hwangu.
Alright. Iyo ikashayikwa panoita dambudziko.
Exactly.
Munhu achifunga kuti muKristu asi ari kungoita zvechechi.
Exactly. Asiri mukristu.
Toda kutenda zvikuru kwazvo. You know, there are so many insights that you have shared with us, and I believe by God's grace, if time would have allowed, we would have wanted to go on and on.
Yeah.
And so on. Any last words that you'd want to share, maybe to people who may be new in the faith, vamwe vachinji vanotoka bhabhatidzwa vanozoguma vasiya, and so on and so on. Vamwe vari kutamba neshamwari asi havambovainvite kuchechi, and so on. Any final thoughts?
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe that we are living in the last days of this earth's history. Jesu avapedyo nekuuya, and zviratidzo zvakawanda zvaakataura kuti zvichaitika kuti auye zvakatoitika. I believe there are two key things zvinofanira kuti zviitike kuti Kristu auye. Vhangeri rinofanira kuparidzwa, vanhu vazive nezvaKristu, uye isu wacho vanhu tofanira kutendeuka. Hanzi Mwari haanonoki kuita sezvaakapikira, akatopikira kuti anouya, asi ari kumirira kuti mumwe munhu atendeuke. Haadi kuti vanhu vaite sei vaparare varasike. So my call is isusu tofanira kuzvikomita kuna Mwari. Hazvinei nekuti ndakakura ndichiita zvinhu zvipi. Hatifaniri kunamata Mwari because of tradition. Kungoti because of tradition tiri kunamata in this way. We should find time to search and study kuti Mwari wari kuti how should I be worshipping. Tambopa reference yekuti Mwari wari kuti vanomunamata ngavamunamate mumweya nemuzvokwadi. John 17:17 moita vatsvene muzvokwadi, shoko renyu izvokwadi. So ndiri kuti kuhama dzangu ngativei nenguva yekuverenga shoko raMwari, toridzidza, tosarudza kuita sezvarinoreva. The journey can only be through Christ and His Holy Spirit. Kana Kristu ari matiri nemweya wake mutsvene, there is a transformation which will happen. And when we are transformed, let's not just sit with what the Lord has done for us. Let's share with the world the knowledge that we gain.
Jesu otaura kuti havazi vose vanoti kwandiri ishe ishe vachapinda muumambo hwedenga, asi bedzi koga vanoita kuda kwababa vangu vari kudenga.
Yeah.
Ndogona kuita kuda kwapasta, ndogona kuita kuda kwechechi, asi chechi haina denga, pasta havana denga. Zvikanzi voga vachapinda ndevanoita kuda kwababa vari kudenga. Kuda kwababa tikuziva sei? Tinoverenga shoko, nokuti ndo vanotaura Mwari kuda kwawo, pamusoro perubhabhatidzo, chimiro chevakafa, pamusoro pesabata, nezvimwe zvose zvingadzidziswa. Zvikanzi vazhinji vachauya kuti ishe ishe, hatina here kuparidza, hatina here kuzvanzi, tichati bvai pandiri, handina kutombokuzivai, handitombozoti zvamaita nezvii, kuti maizowana kupi, zvinozorwadza sei on that final day. Isu tanga tiine mukana, you are literate, and the Bible is here, asi we take it for granted, you know, ongoti isusu kwedu hatiite izvozvo, ko kwaMwari kunoitwa nezvenga, ngatitsvage zvekwani, zvekwamwari. I think ndo shoko ramuri kutisiya. Thank you so much. Mwari wakomborerei, vakuitirei zvakanaka. Evangelist Chindudzi. Evangelist Chindudzi, ngatiende pama-social media handles. Let's like, let's subscribe, let's listen to his teachings, and let's share with others. Mwari vatikomborere tose. And God bless you, Evangelist.
Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
Kale sanecelo ngakho ngani na ye uyeza futhi ebonke babhekisise ngoba uJesu yeza uJesu yeza ye uJesu yeza Jesu yeza ye uyeza futhi amen mezane nasesiqongweni ukuthi ye uyeza futhi le zanobukhosi ngoba uJesu yeza uJesu yeza yeah uJesu yeza Jesu yeza yeah uyeza futhi ehloko manene lwandle namangane nam yeah uyeza futhi qobokane kanjalo ngoba uJesu yeza uJesu yeza yeah uJesu yeza Jesu yeza yeah uyeza futhi bhekaziya sitshela iziboniso ukuthi yeah uyeza futhi na awo umoya uyavuma ngoba uJesu yeza uJesu yeza yeah uJesu yeza Jesu yeza yeah uyeza futhi bheka izizwe zonke zithukuthi ngane nam ye uyeza futhi nalo ulwazi futhi selwakhe ngoba uJesu yeza uJesu yeza yeah uJesu yeza Jesu yeza uyeza futhi